ACT test number 3. What we want to remember is when we're doing this, we want to do A, D, A, D, A, D, or you can do E on this last one, whatever your choice is. What we want to focus on is getting 18 of these questions right. So what we're going to focus on, remember, it's always easy to hard. So by the time you get to here, you're probably not, even Miss Martin can't probably answer most of these. We don't want to focus on these. We want to focus on this first column. What you might want to do is first focus on this first column in all the test tutorials so you can focus on those. And then once you get, or you can do the first 20. I only do the first 20 on every one of these tests because that's what we're focusing on. But if something's not making sense, you can just forward it. I don't want you focusing on something that isn't making sense to you. You want to focus on the f of x questions. You want to focus on the matrix questions. You want to focus on the geometry questions. You want to focus on the SOHCAHTOA questions. You want to focus on the probability questions, okay? You want to focus on the ones that don't have a lot of words on them that you can quickly identify and then answer those questions, okay? So what we're going to do is we're going to go through the test number 3. Ooh, these are a lot of words, isn't there? But I'll walk you through them. And then we'll go ahead. Ooh, this is a tough one. All right, so then we'll walk you through that. Okay, so we're gonna go through these questions. Okay, so the first one, a restaurant occupying the top floor of a skyscraper rotates as diners enjoy the view. Ling and Sarah notice that they began their meal at 7 p.m. Okay, 7 p.m. Looking due north. Okay, north. At 7:45, 1, 2, 3. So this is 7 p.m. This is 7:45, right? We know that. Looking due north. At 7:45, they rotated 180 to a view that was due south. Oh, so 7:45. It took them 45 minutes to do that. Okay. At this rate, how many degrees will the restaurant rotate in 1 hour? Okay, so in 45 minutes, they did 180. So 45 minutes broken down into 180. What I would do is divide by 3 because it's 15-minute intervals. And remember, this is the first question, so it's got to be pretty easy. So 45 divided by 3 is 15 minutes. Every 15 minutes, you're going to go 60 degrees. Okay, so let's get your do your simple math. Okay, we're going to clear that. We're going to do 180 divided by 3 equals 60. Okay, that's how I did that. So, so every 15 minutes, they're going to go 60 degrees. And it's saying, how many degrees will the restaurant rotate in 1 hour? How many 15-minute intervals? 1, 2, 3, 4 in 1 hour, right? So times 60 times 4, let's do it on your calculator. Don't make mistakes. Don't make easy mistakes. So 60 times 4 equals 240. 240. Okay. So the answer should be 240, and that is number C. Good. We're all done there. C. All right, here's another word problem. The cost of a gym membership is a one-time fee of $140. Ooh, this is writing equations again. If you want a worksheet, Miss Martin should have a worksheet on writing equations. The cost of a gym membership is a one-time fee of $140 plus a monthly fee plus $40 per month. Okay? And that equals the cost. Brendan wrote a $500 check to pay his Brendan wrote a $500 check to pay his gym membership for a certain number of months, including the one-time fee. How many months of membership did he pay for? So I'm going to go 500. Okay. So what do? We got to get M by itself, right? So we're going to go this basic 140 minus 140. So we got 40M. Let's scooch this up a little bit. 40M equals, I'm going to do my calculation. Don't make silly mistakes. 500 minus 140 is 360. Okay, then what are we going to do? We want to get, again, this is equations. These are the equation rules. If you need an equation worksheet, I have 3 different worksheets on the equations if you want to get used to those. Use this PERT reference sheet and the 3 equation worksheets to get the hang of that. This is all basic equations. And then we're going to divide by 40, divide by 40. If you don't know what 360 divided by 40 is, it should be 9, but let's just do the math to make sure we're right. 360 divided by 40 is 9. Okay, so he has enough for how many months? 9 months, okay? So there again, that answer is H for number 2. All right, so let's go to number 3. A museum offers a 2-hour guided tour, group tour. Okay, so 2 hours. For groups with fewer than 25 people, the cost equals $9.25 per person. Okay. For groups of 25 or more, greater than 25, it is $8.50, okay, per person. Okay, so just looking at this, you're paying 75 cents more if it is less than 25 people. Okay. For groups with 25, okay, blah, blah, blah. The 27 people in the 9 a.m. tour group each paid $9.25 in advance. They shouldn't have done that, right? Because it says 27 people. What is the group refund? Okay. So basically, owes the 9 a.m. group. So it's 75 cents per person. Okay. So they overpaid 75 cents per person times the 27. So 75 cents, 0.75 times 27 people, they overpaid $20.25, which would be D on this one. All right. So basically So what I basically figured out is what was the difference per person that they overpaid was 75 cents more if it is less than 25. But in this case, they overpaid 75 cents times the 27 people. So that's how I figured out that it was D. Okay, let's move this over. Okay, the 13-member math club needs to choose a student government representative. They decide that the representative who will be chosen at random, this is a probability question, cannot be any of the 3 officers of the club. So we got 13 members and 3 officers. Of that, we have 3 officers, okay? So how many regular members do we have? We have 10 regular members, okay? Now, who will be chosen at random cannot be any of the 3 officers of the club. What is a probability that Samara, who is a member of the club but not an officer, will be chosen? So we're going to put 1, because that's Samara, over 10, right? So it'd be 1/10. Oh, that's all we have to do. That's easy peasy. That would be H. Okay, that's easy. So that one was H as well. Okay, so now we're doing number 5. Okay. Meal earns scores of 75, 70, 92, 95, and 97 points. Total of 429 points for the first 5 tests in economics. Okay, so this sounds like an average question. Solving which of the following equations for S gives the score he needs to earn on the 6th test to average exactly 85 points for all 6 tests. Okay. So I want 85. Okay, so S plus 429 divided by 5, 6 tests, right? It'd be 6 tests. So we're going to get rid of A automatically. Yeah. We're going to do S plus 429 divided by 6 equals 85. We want to do this one divided by 6 over 85. Yep. So we want that to be D. That can be a hard one if you don't understand. So averages, basically, we want to know that S plus 429, whatever that is, divided by 6 is equal to 85. So it would have to be D. Okay, and I don't even do calculations. If you don't understand that, let's just move on. But this is an average question, and you can maybe do the average worksheet that Ms. Martin has. Okay. Oh, I see geometry, right? The figure below shows quadrilateral ABCD. What is the measure of C? Okay, so obviously remember the 180. Now, it can't be 180, so we're going to make this 360. Okay, so we got 165 and 75. Let's just add that up. 100 plus 75 plus 65 equals 240. I'm going to minus 360 from that, and I'm going to get 120. I'm going to answer F for that one. Okay, so number 6 is F. If it's just a triangle, it's going to be 180. If it is a circle, it's 360. And if it is if it's quadrilateral, it's going to be 360 again. Okay. Number 7, in the figure below, A, B, C, D, E, F are similar triangles that are given side lengths in meters. What is the perimeter in meters of D, E, F? Okay, so what this is saying is this is 6, 6, and 10. Okay, then this one is saying this is 5. I'm going to write it the same way. This is 3, and this is, I assume this is 3, right? Okay, so what's the perimeter of 3, 3, and 5? Because, remember, so this is 10 divided by 2 equals 5, right? And 6 divided by 2 equals 3. And so the other one has to be 3 as well, right? So now we got 3, 3, and 5. Add those up and you get 11. Number 7 should be C. Okay? That would be 7 should be C. All right, 8. Oh, I forgot. Okay. 8 is a good one. So we got absolute value. I've got a worksheet on absolute value if you want a worksheet on absolute value. Plus 4. Okay, so what we got to do is PEMDAS. Let's do PEMDAS. And then absolute value will be at the end. So what we got to do, we don't have parentheses because we don't need to do anything with it. And we don't have exponents. Then we have to do multiplication and division first. Again, this is all on the worksheet if you want to remember that. You go parentheses, exponents, multiplication and division, doesn't matter what order, you just go left to right. And then you can do addition, subtraction, no matter what the order, left to right. So it could be a subtraction first, then an addition. It doesn't matter. You got to always go left to right. Okay. So now multiplication is 3 times -2. So that's going to be -6 plus 4. Okay. So -6 plus 4 is a -2. But that's all in absolute value. Remember, absolute value. Absolute value is, if it's negative, it's going to turn into a positive. If it's a positive, it's going to stay positive. It just means it's just 2. Whatever it is, it's going to be just 2. So the answer to that one is a positive 2. Okay, they're going to try to trick you. And if you just do the equation, PEMDAS, you're going to get F, but that's not right because absolute value, you got to do everything in absolute value. And then if it's negative, it turns into positive. So that would be G in that case. Okay. Now, what are the values for X that satisfy the equations X? Okay, so what we want to do is when you see something based on 0, equal to 0, what are the values for X that satisfy the equation? What I do is X plus A equals 0 and X plus B equals 0. Anytime it has that, you break them up and you make them both 0 and it's going to give you 2 different values, okay? So if I do my basics right, I'm getting X by itself. we're going to go minus A. So x equals minus A. And same thing over here, minus B, x equals minus B. And again, this is on the equation worksheet. If you want a couple of these to work on, you can do it on the equation worksheet. So your thing is going to be negative A and negative B, okay? And that answer is A. So all you're going to do is put A for 9. 9 equals A, okay? 10. In the figure below, G is, okay, I'm going to just turn this around, okay. In the figure below, G is the center of the circle of LK, is a diameter. LK is the diameter, that's the long way around. And so G and K, or L and G, is the radius, right? Which is half the diameter. Okay. J lies outside the circle, okay, whatever that means, on LK, and JM is tangent to the circle, blah, 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 blah. Which of the following angles? Remember, this is the number 10 question. It's going to be an easy question, so keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate this. Don't overthink it. This is a lot of information. I'm going to go straight to the question and just ask. You go to the bottom of the question and just ask, what is the question? Which of the following angles or minor arcs has the greatest degree measure? Okay, so let's just see what they are. I don't know. So what happens is LM is more than 90 degrees, right? So F is more than 90, greater than 90. Okay. MK is definitely smaller than LM. So we want to know the greatest degree. So we're going to base everything on what is LM and is it bigger than LM? Okay. J, M, G. Okay, that looks like a 90-degree angle, right? If you turn it all the way around, that's a 90-degree angle. So that can't be bigger than LM. Do you agree? LHK looks like another 90-degree angle, doesn't it? It's not bigger than that LM. And then MJL. That definitely is at 90 degrees. So which one's the largest? Easy peasy. It's going to be F. So 10 equals F, okay? All right, so now let's go down to number 11. Points B and C lie on AD. Okay. I am a visual person, so I am going to write this out. Okay. And I actually have a worksheet on this. It's called Visual Problems, if you want to do some of these. It's relatively easy. So the length of AD, okay, the whole thing is 30 units. I can handle that, 30. Okay, we're going to do 30 right here, 30. AC is 16. Agreed. Okay. And BD is 20. Okay. So what is 16 and 20? That's 36, isn't it? Okay. So we know that BC is going to be 6 degrees. Because we got to go 36 minus 30. So the question is how many units, if it can be determined, is BC? Yeah. So you go 36 minus the total amount, 36 minus 30. We know that center portion is going to be the difference between the two, which would be 6. That's going to be B. Okay? That one's pretty easy. Now, if F, okay, I'm looking at this one. This looks like a basic equation. Then X equals. Anytime you have then X equals what? Okay, I'm just going to write it out. 12X equals minus 8, 10 minus X. Okay, and I'm just solving then X is equal to what? So I am going to distribute this out. Remember, when a number is smashed together with the parentheses, we have to distribute that out. So it's negative 80, and then negative 8 times negative X, we're going to go positive 8X. We're just smashing those two together. When we have a number and a letter, we just smash the two together, okay? And then if we have two letters, we're just going to count how many letters and put it as an exponent. Okay, so now we got equals 12X. So what are we going to do? We want to get the X's on one side by itself, don't we? So we're going to go minus 8X Oh, yeah, minus 8x, because the negative 8 and the negative x, two negatives make a positive, and we smash those together, and now we got to get rid of it, right? So negative 8x. So we're going to go 4x equals negative 80. Okay, what are we going to do? We're going to divide by 4. Again, if you're having issues with these equation questions, I've got 3 equation worksheets that you should be getting to know. If you want to do those, I would highly suggest that. Make sure you get one of these PERT reference sheets. It'll explain it, and it'll give you all the rules and how to work those, okay? So you want to do that if you don't already have that. If you don't have the equations down. So now we got to go negative 80 divided by, and again, you got to use those rules. Use the rules on the bottom of that PERT reference sheet right there. Okay. And again, if you need a worksheet on that, I have equal signs, I have multiplying, dividing signs, and adding and subtracting signs. If that's confusing you and you want more practice specifically on that, ask Miss Martin. I need sign practice, and I got plenty of those practice sheets as well. So, but getting back to this question, I'm going to go 80 divided by 4, and it's going to be 20, and you got a negative and a positive, and you're dividing, so it's going to be a negative 20. So the answer for that one is negative 20, which should be K in this case. Okay. Oh, remember the last test when I explained to you that every test is going to have a 3-part question to it. And voila, we got a 3-part question. One's usually easy. And then one out of the 3 is going to be probably easy, but I'm going to explain all 3 just to get you through. Okay. So, Ken used a piece of cardboard large enough to allow the cardboard to extend 2 inches beyond the cake on all sides. What is the area in square inches of the aluminum foil that is exposed? Oh, we just did this on the last test too. You got to do the area. Okay. So it's 16 times 12. Again, we need our calculator. So we're going to do 16 times 12. That's the cake, right? 192. Now, 192. Now, they said there's exposure of 2 inches on each side, right? And they said this was 16 by 12. So, we'd have to add 12 plus 2, right? So now it's going to have to be, so on this one, we're going to have to do 12. Ooh, my bad. So this is going to be 12 plus 2 plus 2 is going to be 12 plus 4 is 16. And then 16 plus 4 is 20. So that's the foil, right? So we got 192 a cake, and we got to figure out what the perimeter of that is. So now we're going to times 20 times 16 equals 320. 320 minus the 192 of the cake minus 192, you're going to have 128 of foil showing. And look at that. 128, that's the foil showing. Okay, so basically you got the cake, and then you had to add 2 inches on each side of the cake. So we had to add that, the 16 plus the 2 and the 2 is 20. And then we had to do the same thing here. The 12 plus the 2 and the 2 is 16. So then you multiply those two together to get the 320. And we knew the 12 times the 16 was the 192. You add 320 minus the 192, and you get the 128 exposure around the cake in the foil. Okay. Next one. As at the math club meeting, Principal Gonzalez cut the entire cake into pieces. Each piece is 2 inches wide, 2 inches long, and 3 inches high. Okay, we know that's 3 inches high, so no big deal. What is the number of pieces Principal Gonzalez cut the cake into? Okay, so 16 divided by 2, right? 16 divided by 2 is 8, and 12 divided by 2 is 6. 8 times 6 is what? If you don't have, if you can't remember that math, what you want to do is clear it out and do 8 or 6 times 8. Let me clear that out again. Clear. 8 times 6 is 48. Should be 48 pieces. Oh, look at that. 48 pieces. Don't let them trick you and say 3 inches high, because we know that all the pieces. We just had to figure out how many pieces this way and how many pieces this way, and then we just had to multiply it. Okay, so that's pretty easy. So the math club will pay Ken $5 for preparing the cake, and we'll also pay him the cost of the cake mix at $1.75, the frosting mix at $2.67, and the sales tax of 5% on these two items. What is the total amount math club will pay? Okay, so this is writing an equation again. If you want to write an equation worksheet, I got that. But again, if this is too complicated for you, choose your letter and keep moving, okay? So it's $5 for preparing the cake. And then we got $1.73 and $2.67. Okay, and it's 5%. Okay, this is the percentage thing for you. Now I'm going to show you how to calculate tax. And this is a life lesson. You need to know how to calculate tax when you're doing things, and this is how you do them. I'm going to show you right here. So it's $1.73 plus $2.67. Okay, it's $4.40. Now, what I'm going to times it by is I'm going to do 0.05. So 5% is equal to 0.05 on the calculator, okay? Because what you do is you take that percentage and move it 2 decimal points to the left and put a decimal point, okay? So you got to go that way if you're doing that. If you want help on that, I have a worksheet on that as well. So ask Miss Martin if you need a worksheet on that. But in this case, what I'm doing is $4.40 times the 1.05, and that's going to give me the total of $4.40 plus 5% of tax equals $4.62. So it should be $4.62 plus, what is the total amount? Plus the $5. Remember, don't forget that $5 that we got to pay Ken to make it. So $4.62 plus the $5 that Ken gets for making it. So it should be $9.62. So that answer should be D. Okay, and then that's that. And that's your 3 questions off that one. Okay, so now, which is the x-intercept of the line in the standard coordinate plane that goes through the points -3 and 6 and -3.2. Okay, the y-intercept of the line. Okay. We are going to skip that one. Well, actually, it should be -3 Okay, the y-intercept of the line. Okay, so what we're going to do is all right, let's do number 16. I'm going to do this. And what I like to do, again, I'm a visual person. So I'm going to go -3, 1, 2, 3, and I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's right here, -3 and 6. Okay. And then it's going to be +3, 1, 2, 3, and 2. Okay. And if we draw a line through this, where is it going to be? 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So the y-intercept, this is the y-intercept. This is the x-intercept. I draw things out. I come up with 4. So it should be H for 16. Okay. All right, number 17. A machine part is diagrammed in the figure below. A machine part is diagrammed in the figure below with the dimensions given in inches. If the centers of the circles lie on the same line parallel to the bottom of the part, what is the distance in inches between the centers of the 2 holes in the machine part? Okay, so 11 and 5/8. Okay, so what you could do, okay, I'm not going to try to explain. Well, you can do a fractions worksheet. I'm not going to try to explain this to you. I'm going to do it by decimals. I should do it right. I'm going to explain it by fractions. This is going to take a little longer. If you want to do a fractions worksheet, Ms. Martin has a fraction worksheet and has I don't know if I have a tutorial on it. If I don't, I have written explanation of it. All right, so if it's 11 and 5/8, we've got to add these two together. Okay, so we got 2 and 1/16, and we got 4 and 3/4. Okay, so what we got to do is make a common denominator, and so this has to be 16, 16, and 1. We're going to add these together. How do you get from 4 to 16? You got to times that by 4. If you do that to the bottom, you got to do that to the top. And so you got 12. So then you got 13/16, and you got 6/13/16, right? Okay. Now, it says how do you get between the centers of the two holes in the machine part? So now what we're going to do is go 6/13/16, because we added this up, and if we subtract it from this, we're going to figure out what's in the middle. So now what we got to do is we got to do common denominators again. So we've got to go 16 here. So we got times by 2 times by 2, 10. All right, so you can't take 10 and 13. So you're going to have to borrow this and make this 10, and then we're going to have to add another 16 to this. So now this is 26 over 16. 26 minus 13 is what? 26 minus 13, let's do a calculator if you don't know. Make sure we know. Let's not make silly errors. 26 minus 13 is 13. So you got 13 over 16, and then you got 10 minus 6 is 4. So the answer is 4/13/16, so that should be D. Okay? And ironically, with our pattern, we would have got it right by just doing that. Okay. So that's how you do it. If you want a fraction worksheet, ask Ms. Martin for a fraction worksheet and we'll do it. Okay. Now, 18. The depth of the pond is 180 centimeters and is being reduced by 1 centimeter per week. Okay. Then we have a second pond, which is 160 and is being reduced by 0.5 centimeter per week. Down by 0.5 centimeter. And this is down by per week. And this is 1 centimeter per week. Okay, so it would take 2 weeks for this to go down 1 centimeter. Does that make sense? 1 centimeter, and this would be 1 centimeter. Okay. Now, if the depths of both ponds continued to be reduced at these constant rates, in about how many weeks will the ponds have the same depth? Okay. So what I would do, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start in the middle. I'm going to start in the middle to see what happens. So in 40 weeks, I would go down to 140. Okay. But in 40 weeks, I'm only going to go down 20, and that equals, well, there you go. 140 equals 140. So in these particular kind of things, when I have to do calculations, I go to the middle one to see if I have to go lower or higher. In this case, I was right again. I go to the middle and I pick H, and I got that one correct. Okay. Now, okay, so these are written on. Let me get you a new fresh piece. All right, so we're on number 19. When graphed in the standard XY coordinate plane, which of the following equations does not represent a line? All right, 3/4. Okay, so in this one, I would take an educated guess, and I am going to say E, because 3/4, that could be the slope. I get that one. That one's okay. I would have to go E because x squared doesn't exist. It doesn't represent a line. So I'm going to guess E on that one and move on. Okay. In the right triangle shown below, which of the following sentences is true? Oh, I got a cosine, sine, tangent. If you don't know your cosine, sines, and tangents, what you want to do is you want to do the worksheet on this, okay? So on this side, I'm going to do cosine. Now, I have been doing this a lot of years, but I still have to write it out. So cosine So I have to write out SOH, CA, TOA. Okay, so this is opposite over hypotenuse. Remember, hypotenuse is the big lot. Hypotenuse is the long one. And this is adjacent over hypotenuse. And then TOA is opposite over adjacent. Okay, so every time I do these questions, I have to write it out. So don't feel stupid if you have to write it out as well. So cosine of A. I'm looking at A right here. Cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, so it'd be 5 over 13. Is that it? Nope, that doesn't work. Okay, so sine of A is opposite over hypotenuse. It's 12 over 13. Yep, that's G. That's the answer. Okay, and you can run through the rest of these. We can run through the rest of these just to get practice. Tangent of A is opposite over adjacent. So we're going to go 12 over 5. Nope, that isn't it. Cosine of A is adjacent over hypotenuse, which would be adjacent of 5 over 13. That doesn't work, right? And then sine of A, sine is opposite over hypotenuse. 12 over 13, nope, it's 13 over 12. So the only one that it can be is G. And that's your 20. Okay, so that's how we do the first 20 on test number 3 of ACT.